We are here to share about our Tiong Bahru Heritage Trail for our all Sec 3 students. Firstly, let me introduce our team members. We have Hua Yi, Lei Ling, and Hui Ling, myself, Chai Sing. I touch on the process in developing the plan. Our teams brainstorm some ideas before the communication plan execute, such as the objective of this plan, some possible problems that might face, and our stakeholders, internal and external stakeholders, and so on. You can see from the mind map. Next, let me touch on the flow of events for our Tiong Bahru Heritage Trail. Okay, in April, a community planning committee set up, and we send email to MP office and get approval from our school leaders. At the same time, we liaise with Tiong Bahru CC for booking of venue. May, we go for our first recce with the OM, and we contact some of the external stakeholders as well. In June, the submission of our second plan and collect 300 heritage booklets from URA, and we design our own brochure, which has some others information such as emergency contact numbers. July, some teachers guides will attend the Heritage Trail Tour organized by NHB, which is the National Heritage Board. And we also request for funding from our Alumni Association. August, we contact RC, activate some student leaders, St. John Ambulance students, etc. And we firm up documents for the press release. September, first week of September, we conduct a workshop regards to social media by NIE lecturer. Next, all teachers will be briefed during the contact time, and principal will address students as well. Consent form will be sent and collect back in this month also. And in October 13, our school will remind external stakeholders. 14 reminds the students, and October 15, our event commences. This will be the URA brochure for the reference. Next, Hua Yi will touch on examples of written correspondence.
Thanks, Chai Sing. So I'll be talking about some of the examples of written correspondence. For this event, we'll actually write quite a number of different kinds of correspondence as written and oral, but we'll just show 3 examples today. The first example is actually an email to the Air Raid Shelter tour guide. Okay, because the situation for the Air Raid Shelter is slightly different, very specific tour guides, only very specific tour guides can bring people through the Air Raid Shelter, so we are going to contact one of them, which is Miss Mei Hui. So she is the audience of this email. This email is actually before the email, we would have already made a phone call to her as mentioned in the first line of our email. The purpose of this email is to ask her for some dates and times at her convenience for conducting a training session for our teachers. The training session is so that our teachers may be more familiar with the Heritage Trail, because on the day of the event itself, we would prefer having our teachers being teacher guides to the different trail guide groups. Yeah. So the first one is for the training session, and the second purpose is to ask her for the quotation for the training session, as well as for her to personally bring the groups through the Air Raid Shelter. The context of this email is sent after a phone call. During the phone call, we would have mentioned that we have heard many good things about her services, and as a form of compliment to begin the conversation. And we will also mention that Bennett Institution is having this Heritage Trail event, and we will need some tour guides. Lastly, we'll also ask her about some availability and time, which predictably she might not be able to confirm on the spot. That's why we are following it up with the email, also as a form of black and white. Now, the second example is a letter to the Minister of Parliament's office. We are going to invite the Senior Minister of State, Ms. Indrani Raja, who is also the MP for in the Tiong Bahru constituency, or Tanjong Pagar constituency. Yeah, and this letter is actually an invitation to her to grace the opening ceremony of the event. So the purpose of this email is to invite her on stage to give an opening address of about 5 minutes, and we also briefly mention what the opening address is going to be about. And then we are also welcoming her to join the first tour group to mark the beginning of the Heritage Trail. So this group will consist of the principal, students, and some residents. The context of this letter, this is clearly a letter, is to formally invite her to be the guest of honor for the event. This letter is also sent with an email because sometimes letters don't reach the minister. We have to follow up with an email to make sure that she actually receives our invitation. The third example is the principal's letter to parents. This principal's letter is clearly addressed to parents of students of rented institution. The purpose of this letter is to inform parents of this upcoming event, to encourage the participation of the students, and to provide information of the event, such as the time, the date, the venue, and also to give, to enclose in the letter, map the heritage trail, recommended list of items to pack, and some contact numbers for the perusal. Lastly, it's also, in a practical sense, to get the parents' consent for the students to go on this heritage trail event. A detachable acknowledgement slip will be at the bottom of this letter. The context is clearly in the form of a letter because most parents actually receive correspondence from the school in the form of a letter. And we are framing this under part of Rented Institution's 50th anniversary celebrations and the CCE program. So that's why we're having this Tiong Bahru Heritage Trail for all Secondary 3 students in October. Now, Hui Ning will talk about the proposed oral correspondence with 3 different stakeholders.
Okay, thank you, Wai. Our first form of oral correspondence for stakeholders would be a meeting within the planning committee and also the CCE committee. So this meeting will be conducted after the initial proposal has been approved and the work allocation within the committee sent out via email. So different members of the committee will spearhead different subcommittees like logistics and safety. This meeting has the purpose of informing and instructing the members and for them to discuss and clarify their concerns, which may be the fair allocation of tasks, the addressing of queries or difficulties that they may preempt. So bearing in mind that our audience are teachers, we will use acronyms familiar to teachers and make it a point to build rapport with the team so that we can conduct the rest of the operation smoothly. So for the context of this meeting, it's because we think that some things are better discussed face-to-face as compared to written correspondences like strings of email. So valuable face-to-face time should be used to maximize and to address the key issues. Our second form of oral correspondence will be the principal's talk to the Sec 3 students during school assembly, with the purpose of informing and enthusing the students regarding the event. As a student, I will be concerned with what is the trail like, why is the school making me go for the trail, is it compulsory? So because our audience are students, the principal will use language that is easy to understand and accompany his speech with visually engaging media. So the context here is that while the administrative duties, like the collection of the acknowledgement slips, will be done by the form teacher, the principal has a slightly different role. He has a legitimate authority in the sense that he's the head of the school, so we would like him to play the role of arousing the interest of the students in this event. So other than highlighting the fun and interesting parts, because our audience are Sec 3 students, we believe that they should be able to understand if we communicate the rationale of this event so that they approach the event not only just for the fun of it, but also with a deeper understanding. So our last oral correspondence would be with the event florist in order to inform and instruct them. The florist will be interested in the occasion we have, the types of decor we want, the bouquets, date and time and budget. And we will provide them with a photograph and floor plan of our venue as well as our color scheme. So the context is that because they are our vendors and we have a limited budget to work with, so we would want them to understand our needs clearly and then achieve the best deal we can get. So firstly, we will call to make the appointment and inform them about our requests. And based on the information that we have given, the florist will actually work out a proposal with quotations and their suggestions. So this is where the face-to-face part will come in, where we will discuss with them the proposals, view actual plans, sample arrangements, and perhaps make adjustments and decisions on the spot. So now Li Ling will tell us more about the plan of our actual event.
Thank you, Hui Ning. So I'll be sharing with you the program flow concerning students before and on the day itself. So on the day before, form teachers will be issuing reminders to students on their grouping as well as the things to bring. The planning committee will also go down to check out the setup of the venue and as well as test the AV system. So on the day itself, students are together and prepare for morning assembly by 8:15 a.m. at the venue. Form teachers are to take attendance from 8:15 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. to issue controls and brochures during that time and to remind students of their grouping. By 8:20 a.m., MP Raja will arrive, and by 8:30 a.m., there will be a singing of national anthem and pledge taking, followed by principal's opening address and MP Raja's speech. So we split up the 200 student participants into 15 groups, and we have 5 teams consisting of 3 groups each. So at any one time, 3 groups will set out on 3 different routes. So you can see here, at 8:45 a.m., the first 3 groups, Group 1 will embark on Route A together with MP Raja, the principal and senior residents of Tiong Bahru, and they will be moving anti-clockwise from the left, making PS Cafe their first stop. Group 2 will embark on Route B. They will move anti-clockwise to the right, making Lou's Hainanese Curry Rice as their first stop. Group 3 will move clockwise to the left, making Air Raid Shelter their first stop. And this goes on for the next 4 sets of groups, each with a 10-minute interval in between. So by 9:25, the last team will set out for the Heritage Trail. And by 10:30, all groups are to be reported back to the CC. Form teacher will do a head count, and reflection worksheets will then be issued. At 11 a.m., after the students have completed their worksheets, there will be a debrief by the principal, followed by the singing of school anthem, and students will then be dismissed promptly. So here are some of our safety considerations. To prevent the risk of heat stroke in hot weather, students will be constantly reminded to hydrate themselves. In the event of rain, to prevent students from developing flu symptoms or falling down on the slippery floor, they will be instructed to put on their ponchos and to walk carefully. To prevent students from being struck by lightning in the event of a thunderstorm, they will be kept under sheltered areas at all costs. To minimize the risk of car accidents, students are instructed to cross the roads briskly. Before the day of event, high-risk students will also be notified they will be advised against entering the air raid shelters. Such students will be those who are claustrophobic or those who are prone to seizures. For students with asthma, they are encouraged to bring their inhaler with them into the air raid shelter. The first aid team will also be on standby nearby. So here are the list of documents in use on the day of the event. So for the planning committee, it will be a flow of events, the name list of students in all the groups, important contact numbers, as well as brochures designed by vendor institution. For form teachers, it will be class name lists and emergency contact details. For student leaders, it will be a schedule on the day itself, as well as individual responsibilities. For St. John's Brigade members, they will have a checklist of first aid equipment and the name list of all participants. And lastly, for MP Raja, she will have a suggested script on the speech. So here is the brochure designed by our group. As you can see on page 2, there is a suggested map. This is actually Route 1, as you can tell from the numbering sequence. Okay, as for contingency plans, we have a wet weather plan. For students who have already embarked on the trail itself, they will stay in the sheltered area if it is an extended space. For students who are situated in a sheltered but narrow walkway with oncoming human traffic, they are advised to relocate to a spacious area upon the discretion of the committee aide. For students who have yet to begin their trails, they will stay indoors in the multipurpose hall. So to evaluate the success of our planned event, for the planning committee, possible questions during the after action review would be, what were the objectives that we set out to achieve? How did we plan to achieve this? How did our plan change? Did we achieve all of this? And what could be done better? As for student surveys, we plan to do them online on Google Forms. And questions include, how do you enjoy it? How much do you enjoy it? What's the most interesting information that you gleaned? What could be done better? And would you like for this to be continued? So now I'll hand the time over to Taisha for a team reflection.
Thank you. Our reflections comprise 2 parts. Firstly, devising a communication plan. Some thought process of planning an event. A, we're understanding our intended outcomes for the purpose of having this plan. B, identify internal and external stakeholders. And C, context and audience determines the preferred mode of contact. Number 2, in terms of scope, ability to execute the 5 prints without losing sight of the big picture. And number 3, allocation of tasks to each and every person and component. For the second part of our reflection is about teamwork. We tap into each of our own strengths, and rehearsal allows us to provide comments, suggestions to one another's performance. And last but not least, when challenges or conflicts arise, good communication enables our members to work together amicably and resolve the problems. That's all. Thank you.
Questions, please, for the group?
So how are the students going to do using Google Form? They are you going to present computer labs or are you going to use phone? The students will be using their phones to do the survey. We'll probably put up either a QR code or a short bit link for them, to go on to survey.
And form teachers can also remind them in their class WhatsApp group chat.
How will you identify those high-risk students?
The school should have actually, when they come into the school, they will have gone for medical checkup, health checkups. So the school will have medical history of all the students. Also, form teachers should be able to raise the names of these students to the planning committee beforehand. So we should have the list of all these students